All right, who's ready to be thoroughly disgusted by their government again? Back to the normal programming on this channel. Sorry if it went a little crazy there for a minute, but who's ready to fucking throw up in their mouths a little bit whenever they hear what government's not doing again, or doing again, or did again, or, well, really it's the cops, but I mean, you know, it's government. I don't think this guy needs a plug. He's got 3 million subscribers, but this channel is awesome. This kid is fucking cool as shit. Channel 5 with somebody. It'll say in a second.
Average Tesla is using almost 3 times the amount of copper compared to its gas-fueled counterpart. And with the increasing push for renewable energy, building new solar farms, wind turbines, and even the chargers for your favorite electric vehicles would be impossible without more copper. Now, copper is also 100% recyclable, and we've all heard the stories of petty thieves robbing the nearest residential construction site for its copper wires and fixtures. Or, like our friend Glenn from our coverage of the Vegas tunnels,
what is this stuff?
Yeah, it's copper, right? It's low-grade copper.
Collecting discarded copper wiring from behind the various casinos in the Las Vegas Strip and taking it to the nearest scrapyard for some cold, hard cash.
Do you feel happy with this amount?
No, I'm not happy at all.
But sometimes the true cost of acquiring this copper is a lot more than scouring the back alleys of casinos in the hot Nevada sun. The true cost could be devastating, and that takes us to Oak Flat.
For many Apaches, this land is holy.
And that's what this fight is about survival.
But soon the area could be home to a massive copper mine that plunges more than a mile deep.
Today we're going to talk about a Native American tribe and their struggle to save their land from being exploited by a transnational energy company. To tell this story properly, we got to back up to earlier this year, the first week of April to be exact, when the Trump administration passed an emergency reform bill opening up 59% of previously protected national forests to logging. You know, chopping down trees to make coat racks and birdhouses.
Trump's agriculture secretary issued an emergency order memo last week calling for the expansion of timber production by 25%.
That memo says the United States has the abundance of timber resources that are more than adequate to meet our domestic timber production needs.
As it currently stands, the U.S. is still the #1 wood-producing country on Earth, but China isn't too far behind, and they've recently launched a forest plantation plan that allegedly would allow them to overtake us by 2050. Hence Trump's executive order, which opens up the previously protected forests to logging.
And therefore, it's time to open up 59% of all National Forest Service lands for logging.
Which sucks ass. John Muir once said that between 2 pine trees is a door, leading to a new way of life. And if I wasn't scared of bears, I'd be at Yosemite right now. The conservation of America's majestic landscapes, especially in the West, is something I've been eternally grateful for, especially thinking back on the RV days living in the Valley of Fire State Park in Nevada.
What if I told you we never had to cut down another tree for the rest of human existence because there's already a product that grows grows twice as fast, it's twice as strong, twice as cheap, it can grow in any climate, and did I say twice as strong already? Twice as strong, and it's fireproof. And people are already making houses out of it. What if I told you that thing existed, but the only reason we can't use it or take advantage of it is because of cops? Let me connect the dots.
Guys, this right here is a piece of wood.
Well, before I spill the beans about this magicness, I want to show you how I figured it or found out about it. And it's obviously because I play guitar, but these ones are super cool, dude. Anyways, you can make guitars out of this substance. Anybody who's familiar with guitars or wood in general knows that the shape of this headstock and the fact that it's hollow is absolutely amazing that a piece of wood or wood substitute is doing that.
but it's not any normal piece of wood. It's really unique, and it looks really unique. It looks like it could be from a tropical
So
tree
what is
or
this
something.
magical stuff?
But this is
It's the same
actually
stuff that's
a
magical when you
piece
smoke
of
it,
wood
baby.
that's made from hemp, which is the same plant that we get cannabis or marijuana from. And in
I'll let him give you the backstory and break your hearts about it, and then I'll talk
this
shit.
video, I'm going to explain how we get from this, which is the stalk of a hemp plant, to this, which is hemp wood. And I'll explain how that amazing process has a potential to revolutionize the building and woodworking industry and the environment. So stick around. So hemp has been around for thousands of years, and it's been cultivated by ancient civilizations worldwide for its fibers, seeds, and oils. Hemp was also an important crop for early American settlers who used hemp fibers to make rope, sails, fishing nets, and clothing. In fact, in 1619, the Virginia Assembly passed legislation requiring that every farmer grow hemp. Also, in the early days of the colonies of Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Maryland, hemp was allowed to be exchanged as legal tender. George Washington himself grew hemp, and hemp is still grown today at Mount Vernon. That love affair with hemp, though, didn't last forever, and in the early 1900s, use of marijuana for recreational purposes became popular and then really exploded during the Great Depression, and so then laws were passed to crack down on its usage. There was a slight reprieve, however, because during World War II, hemp was critical for the war effort, and the government handed out seeds and even granted draft deferments to those who would stay home and grow hemp. They even made a whole propaganda film about it.
But now, with Philippine and East Indian sources of hemp in the hands of the Japanese, and shipment of jute from India curtailed, American hemp must meet the needs of our Army and Navy, as well as of our industries. Rope for marine rigging and towing, thread for shoes for millions of American soldiers, and parachute webbing for our paratroopers. Hemp for victory.
After the war, though, things tightened up again, and in 1970, the Controlled Substances Act classified all forms of cannabis, including hemp, as a Schedule I drug.
Motherfuckers. Is anybody else starting to get like a little angry right now?
This classification made it illegal to grow hemp in the United States.
Okay, I'm straight up pissed now. This is fucking ridiculous, dude. Fuck these motherfuckers.
Now that status continued until the 2018 Farm Bill, which placed hemp into a different category than other cannabis species that have a higher tetrahydrocannabinol or THC concentration. More on that later. So how exactly do you turn these unassuming hemp plants into a durable wood-like product? Well, there is a company out there called Hempwood, and they're the ones that made this. And I recently sat down with their CEO, Greg Wilson, to talk about how their company works and how they create this really incredible product. Now, their process all starts with the cultivation of industrial hemp using sustainable farming practices. While it comes from the same plant as cannabis or marijuana, it's not the same variety. Marijuana is a type of cannabis plant that can induce a psychotropic effect due to the high content of THC.
So what you're saying is they're two completely different plants, really, and one of them can't even get you high, and that's the one that we need to replace trees. Fuck you, Trump.
Hemp is a radically different variety that contains less than 0.3% of THC. And the part of the plant that is important for hemp production is the stalk, not the buds or the flowers.
Right. So it's a completely different plant, and this parts of it we're going to use for this magical wood aren't even the parts that get you high. We can't even smoke those parts. This makes total sense. Good job, fucking morons.
In fact, I asked Hempwood's CEO about the difference between medicinal or recreational marijuana and the strain that he is using to grow hemp for his hempwood, and here's what he said.
Medicinal.
I think this guy's look says it all. You know, it's a little bit of fuck you mixed with a little bit of what the fuck, mixed with a little bit of y'all are retarded, mixed with a little bit of holy shit, I can't believe I was born in this era. I wish I was born in the 1700s, mixed with a little bit of, man, this fucking suit is rad. I look like fucking Anchorman, damn Will Ferrell.
Hanging out with
That's it, I'm taking off. What, that wasn't impressive enough?